This game was played at the ACO World Amateur Championship in Kos in May, and it was awarded a Best Game prize by my Grandmaster colleague Spiridon Skembris. It's a really well fought game by both players. Certainly not a perfect game, but there are some excellent ideas in there. The winner is André Matzat from Germany, who's a frequent competitor in these ACO events, and he's playing against Andrew Smith, who's been given an American flag by the chess-based software. I don't know why. He's born and bred in London. I've played against him on many occasions on the London chess scene, going right back to our school days where he duffed me up on a couple of occasions. And he's actually represented Ireland in the past as well. Anyway, that's another story. If you're interested in these ACO events, they're just fantastic. They combine a holiday with a chess tournament. The next one is in Crete in October, and then Kos, Greek island of Kos, in May 2024. 5-star hotel. I'm there as analysing games and giving seminars. They're brilliant fun. Highly recommend them. Right, let's crack on with this game. So, André Matzat playing white. So, Andrew Smith, as is his wont, trying to mix things up right from the word go with a kind of Benoni. But instead of going for a Benoni main line like this, André plays knight c3. And this is quite a decent move, actually. This is a really interesting position. The queen develops early. And white can play this in two ways, really. You can play this quite positionally, trying to gain control in the centre, getting some pressure on this backward pawn. Or you can go for a kingside attack, and that's what happens here. Andy plays knight c6 here, and I've always thought this position was a little bit dubious for black, but actually when I did my research just now, I saw that none other than Garry Kasparov played this with black. He played d6 and then knight d7, and this does look to be very sensible, and after this he broke with d5, and black has just about equalised already. So I think d6 is the most accurate move here, giving black the option to play knight d7 to fight for control over d5. But Andy plays knight c6. And now the queen sweeps over to the kingside. And this is really dangerous. I really like this idea. And after d6, h4. Excellent attacking play. This looks absolutely terrifying to me. Knight g5 coming. Well, for example, if black plays a natural move like bishop e6, then knight g5 is already absolutely crushing. Threatening mate, if that's taken, then the h-file opens, and otherwise, h6, then this can be taken. So that is the threat. Knight g5, incredibly dangerous, and h6 certainly won't do anything because that can be taken. But Andy Smith comes up with a very cunning defensive move, actually. Queen e8, really good move. So it defends f7. And it means that if knight g5, then that can be exchanged off. And then queen e4 check. And that covers h7. So that's, it's kind of a multi-purpose move, actually, queen e8. Really interesting. And also it's on the same line as the queen, so that sometimes you might be able to play bishop e6, and black at the end of it will be able to offer an exchange of queens. So excellent move, queen e8. And now André, I've got Andy and André. André, I think, plays an excellent move in response. He plays bishop d2. It's actually, at first glance, it looks like there should be lots of good moves for white, but actually, this is the best move. If, for example, white plays castles kingside, looks normal. Actually, after bishop e6, black is absolutely fine. That's what I'm talking about, this standoff between the queens. So there's no problem for black at all in that position. But bishop d2 is excellent. If bishop e6 now, well, watch what happens. I should mention that Andy played bishop f6 here. Good move. But if bishop e6, then watch this. This is incredible. It just shows you some of the possibilities. Now the h-file is opened. Well, there is a way to stop that. Bishop f5, there's a pin there. But watch this. Rook h4. Nice defense here. And if bishop g6, not the best move, but still black is suffering. If bishop g6, that can be taken, and then castles queenside, and there's no decent defense to rook h1 and rook h8 mate. An incredible position. So that's the kind of thing that black is battling against. But bishop f6, good move. Opens this up. That's my phone. I'm going to turn that off. Sorry, folks. If I can turn it off. So castle's queenside. Now that is very risky. I don't go into detail, but it's after knight g5, it's too risky. g6 is definitely the best move. Queen h6, and the queen is driven away, and bishop e6, and well, it looks like black has put together a decent defensive position here. In fact, white still has a very strong position. I think Andre played here what looks like, to me, a really natural move, and that's bishop d5. In fact, the strongest move is bishop b5, and that prevents an important defensive idea, and then just to press on with h5. Yeah, after bishop d5, you have a little think. How would you play with black? Black to play. I'll have a little slurp of tea. Cheers. How would you play with black in this position? Well, Andy played knight e5, and that's not the best move. In fact, knight d4 is really strong. And this gives black sufficient counterplay. And the idea is that this opens up the c-file. I'm just going to show you one variation. Now, I repeat, white is okay here. But let's just see what happens if white just goes for it a bit too much, basically. Queen h4 still looks really dangerous with the attack on the h-file. But watch this. Rook c8 takes. Rook takes pawn check. And it's mate on b2. Now, you'd have to be a calculating genius to see that. Of course, this is a computer variation. Nevertheless, knight d4 is the best move. Knight e5, not so strong, because now Andre Matzat takes control. Bishop c3, excellent move. The rook now supports the bishop, and a little bit of pressure here on e5. So this is very nice. White is combining positional play with the attack on the king side. King b1, rook e8 and h5. This is really hard to defend. White wants to blast through here, but there's also this backward d-pawn, and really I think white's position is a picture of harmony now. Pieces combining beautifully. Queen came back, and now Andre cashed in by taking on e5. I guess you could also play queen h2, but I think this is very reasonable. So an extra pawn, and rook takes, and if rook takes queen, and that looks like yeah, superb endgame for white. So queen g4. So Andy Smith is trying to mix things up Queen c3. The queen was attacked. Queen takes e4, and now very important move, h6, threatening mate on g7. So f6 has to be played now. That opens up the 7th rank. Ooh, nasty. I mean, there was absolutely no alternative, but yeah, obviously it's a problem for black. Rook d1. Yep, nice coordination. Queen takes g2, queen c5, and queen h3, understandably looking to get rid of that pawn on h6. Here, Andre plays queen c7, which certainly looks like a tempting move. In fact, probably best just to play a3 to solve the back rank problem, and then to go rook d7. This is actually very good for white. But queen c7 played instead. And, I mean, there was time pressure involved, of course. In fact, it's possible just to play rook f7 here to drive the queen away, because rook d7 fails to rook takes, and watch out, there's a back rank problem. But instead, queen takes pawn played. And after rook d7, well, white is a pawn down, but with domination of the 7th rank, this is a very nice position. Let's see what happened. And this next idea from Andre I really like. I mean, it's not obvious how white should make progress here. Yes, this rook looks wonderful on the 7th rank, but what do you do next? But this is really good. Queen c4 check, and then queen d5. This is excellent. Centralization, that queen just dominates the position. So it's looking in all directions here. And even rook h1 starts to become an interesting possibility. But this is the difference between the two positions. That dominating queen on d5. The rook controlling the 7th rank, and yeah, black's major pieces just can't compete. Rook c8, king b2, queen g6, and c4. So now these pawns start to advance on the queen side. h5, black looking for counterplay. Rook takes b7, rook e8, and rook d2. Just covering the 2nd rank. It was actually possible to push the pawn, but anyway, h4. The queen is on the perfect square, and in fact, white should just advance the c-pawn, but queen d7. I understand this move. It looks very strong, just to prevent that pawn from advancing. In fact, yeah, c5 is just really strong because the queen controls here. Incredibly, rook g8 is still a decent defense for black. I mean, it still looks absolutely wonderful for white. But, well, my computer tells me that black is just about defending. But anyway, a5 played instead, which looks like a more human move. And now this really is crushing for white. This c-pawn is just too strong. And yeah, this one isn't advancing. And the finish was really great, actually. Because it looks like, you know, black might be doing something here. But queen d6 takes control. Gains a tempo. And now c7 and rook e8. And Andre finds a very neat way to finish the game that, well, I wouldn't say is particularly obvious, but certainly very powerful. Rook b8. h3. So at the moment, black has enough pieces controlling that square, but simply rook d8. And then c8 is impossible to stop. And in the meantime, that queen, again, beautifully centralized, prevents that pawn advancing. Yeah, so I really like this maneuver, actually. So rook b8 and then rook d8. Very simple and highly effective. So here Andrew Smith resigned. Andrei Matzat was the winner. As I said, not a perfect game by any means, but some great ideas. And I think, you know, the general thrust of the game with this really nice centralized queen, kingside attack, and then translating into dominating the center, very nicely played from Andrei. So, as I said, I cannot recommend these ACO tournaments highly enough. They're really great fun. Do check out the link to these tournaments. As I said, next one coming up in Crete in October, and then in May 2024 on the Greek island of Kos. They're really great fun. See you there.